Hello guys and welcome to today's session. I'm joined once again with Blayn, and today we're going to be taking a look at some more strategy development stuff. If you're new to this series that we do on a Tuesday, the whole process that we do here is we find the strategy idea, we build a strategy idea, we test it, we robustness check it, and then eventually we implement it onto a Darwin that we have for charitable purposes. Currently in a little bit of drawdown, but the end goal is to, over the next sort of year or two, raise a little bit of money from performance fees, and then let you guys choose the charity of choice that we donate the performance fees to. How we doing? Somebody in the chat, X4178. How we doing? Hope you've had a fantastic trading day. I'm just going to make sure the links have gone out correctly and that the stream is up and running, because there's nothing worse than doing a stream when no one can see it. And then I will hand over to Blayn now.
Awesome. Well, welcome guys. Again, we're going to be building something from scratch. And again, we're going to take it from the resource Oxford Strat. And this one is actually a little different to everything that we've already built. Normally, when we're looking at doing breakouts, we're actually taking either something from like a high or a low, or we're using like Bollinger Bands or something like that. But this one is a little different. And what it is it's another breakout strategy. You can see the name Open Range Breakout, but it's probably different to what everyone is used to, because everyone in Open Range Breakout is always going to be to do with like a London session, or you're trading the first 15-minute candle of the American session, New York. But no, this is a weekly opening range breakout. So we're really going to the higher time frames this time. Not everyone's cup of tea, but what I will say is you can get a lot of good stuff from the higher time frames, and it's well worth looking into. So essentially what we're doing here is we're going to be looking at the open candle of the week. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be measuring the difference between the open for each weekly bar and the closest extreme to the open on each weekly bar as well. So basically, I know like this can sometimes be a little bit hard to understand. So I do recommend that you probably look at, I don't know, using like Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT to help you sort of get a good understanding for what this is. Just ask it to make things simple. Explain it as if this is your first time ever coming across anything, and it should do a not too bad a job of explaining it. But what I'll do is I will explain it on the charts. A little different this time that we're actually going on the charts, but I think maybe it'll be a good representation of exactly how we are going to get this strategy. So the way that I understand it is we are looking at the candle's previous high, low, and the open price, right? And what we'll be doing is to measure, if we go back, we're going to try and measure a stretch. So the stretch value is what I'm going to explain to you, and then we've got a multiple of that stretch. So the stretch is going to be the high minus the open, or it's going to be the open minus the low, depending on where it is. And what the smaller value of each of those, that's what we're going to use as our stretch. Then we're going to times it by different multipliers. So this will probably carry over into tomorrow as well, because it might take a few minutes to build it, because I'm going to build it pretty slow so then people can actually understand, follow along, because we will be using variables. So again, if you're not familiar with variables, hopefully I can hopefully you can understand it when I'm going through it. That is the aim. If not, then there is videos online somewhere that you'll be able to find it, or just use FXtremer forum or something like that. You will understand and find out what their purpose is. But yeah, so what we're looking at is we're looking at the open range of the week. So the open is here, and what we're doing is we're measuring the stretch. So what we're going to do, there's two different stretches, and we're taking the smallest one. So the first stretch is the high minus the close. So we can see that value is about $114.77, and then we can do the open minus the low, and we can see that's $388 or $87. So we're taking the smaller value of that and then adding it to the open. So we know that the smaller value is up here at $300 odd, or sorry, $116. So what we're doing is we are going to measure from the open. We could do a multiple of 0.5, we could do a multiple of 1, we could do a multiple of 2. So the stretch could be here, it could be here, or it could be here. And this will all be determined on what multiplier that we use. So we can then test where is the best sort of area to take a breakout for the week. If we make it small, it's going to happen fairly early on. But if we make it quite high, what might happen is we're not getting caught in choppy price action. But at the same time, we might not capture a massive move. So there is pros and cons to both sides of it. But again, this is the beauty that we'll actually go and optimize and test this to see it does this work? And I'm feeling it's going to work very well in certain markets. But I also have a feeling that maybe the opposite would work in certain markets. So we could actually turn the breakout into a mean reversion strategy as well. So that's the good thing about this strategy. We'll first of all test as a breakout. And then depending on how we get on today and tomorrow, maybe next week we then change it into a mean reversion strategy and we see where we can go from that. So this could be a 2-week sort of a strategy building sort of session where we can test both sides of the markets in terms of this strategy. And I think it could be quite interesting to see what we get. And all this is based on weekly. So the trades, it's only going to be one trade or two trades potentially a week. So not that high frequency, but with enough data, we could get quite a lot of trades. So yeah, that is simply how the strategy will work. And we're just going to go and build it now in FX Streamer. So please bear with me. Again, when I can talk sometimes and not be able to do everything 100%. So I might have to go over it a couple of times just to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. So first and foremost, we want to save the variable, and that is open. So we want to save the candle open. So let's do open. So we'll do, that's a C, open range breakout, we'll put to 0. So this will be our first initial value of what is the open. What is the open of this week? Or we could do next week. Let me just double check. Because, yeah, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I place it at the open plus stretch shortage. Okay. So we'll place it at the open of the week, but we're using the week before as the stretch. So what we'll do is we'll do stretch. And that will be our two variables. We then need to make sure that we've got a multiplier. So I've actually already put this in because I was going to build it quickly beforehand, just to kind of get to grips with it, but don't always have enough time. So this will be the first time I've ever built it. So yeah, be a good one for me to make sure that I'm doing everything correct. That'll also be a good one for you guys to follow along. So what we want first, we want to store the open, but we also want to calculate the stretch. So first and foremost, we will do once per bar. Let's actually take this to the timer. Once per bar, we're going to set this to the weekly. Okay. We are going to do a variable, sorry. And we're going to do open range. We're going to go to candle open of 0 because we're looking to take the candle open of this week. Again, using the weekly. So that's us already. As soon as the market opens on Sunday, we are taking the value of the open. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want to sort of make a stretch. So actually, we're going to have to name this stretch 1, stretch 2. This is what I mean by I'll be thinking and modifying things as we go along. And then we'll do final stretch. Okay. So what we're going to do again is once per bar. Make sure we're using the weekly. We're going to do a formula. So we've never used the formula, I don't think, on the series or the live streams before. So this will be something new for everyone. And we're going to do the candle high of 1 of the weekly minus the candle open, open of 0, we'll do close of 1. because we're looking at last week. So we're finding the high and the low between it. But we're using that as our space in the open range. So the high minus the open of last week. Okay, so again, going back to it, this is us measuring the high minus the open. So like for this sort of day, we'd be looking at this previous candle for figuring out the stretch. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And we're going to save the results in stretch 1. Okay. We then need to do the same again, except we're going to be doing candle open of 1 of the weekly minus the candle low, of the weekly. And then we're going to put that in stretch 2. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it one after another, so we're actually creating a condition like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, is the value of stretch 1 above the value of stretch 2? Then we've got to do a variable.
Did you just call it a variable?
Yeah, variable. I don't know why I kept saying that.
A variable.
Not thinking today, like
I ain't forgot any Scottish roots.
Variable.
Yeah,
variable.
Brian, I need a coffee. I've got it here, man. Actually, I was up till God knows what time last night, doing some out of sample tests on my data. So I am actually knackered today. So it's a good job that I've got Blayn here with me.
I'm not doing much better.
Or I guess I'm here with you.
And this will be stretch 2. So I'll explain it just after. I needed to just keep going. So let me pull up all these blocks and explain everything. So we've got our 2 formulas where we've calculated stretch 1 and 2. In this condition block, we're trying to see, is stretch 1 above stretch 2? If it is, actually I've done this wrong. Let me flip this around. If stretch 1 is above stretch 2, we want to take stretch 2. Let me just open these again before I start confusing people, because I'm confusing myself now. Right. Because we're wanting to take the smallest stretch. So if stretch 1 is above stretch 2, that means it's bigger. We then want to take the value of stretch 2 because that is the smaller one. Okay, so that's why we've got stretch 2 in here. My bad. I've done this bit wrong again as well. Stretch 2, we then make it equal the final stretch. So sorry, the variable stretch 2, which we've already calculated, if that is the value we're wanting to use as the space, we then put it as our final stretch. Okay. I hope I've not confused anyone there, and it's easier to follow along, because again, I can make mistakes as well, which is why I'll always try and go double back and check. But yeah, essentially we're taking the smaller. So if stretch 2 is smaller than stretch 1, it means that this is what we do for stretch 2. If stretch 1 is bigger than stretch 2, 2 seconds. I think I've just played games in my own mind there. So if stretch 1 is above, it isn't. So then, yeah, stretch 1 equals final stretch. Okay, so if stretch 1's bigger than stretch 2, we'll take stretch 2. If stretch 2 is bigger than stretch 1, we'll take stretch 1. And that will be our final space stretch as such. Okay, so I'll just quickly open all these boxes so then people can kind of see everything that's inside them. Maybe I need to zoom out a little bit. Oh, I don't want to be on that chart. Okay, so once per bar, we've got our formulas here. We then have our condition that then goes into 2 different modified variables. Okay, so If anyone wants to ever pause the stream and see what's in each box, you can see here. Oh, actually, you can't see that there. Let me put this down here. So that is everything that you need to start to actually get the pattern. But one thing that we have missed, I always miss it, and I always have to add it in after I build something. We need to make sure that every week we're resetting these values. I mean, they should reset anyway, but just to make sure, I always put this in just to make sure that they are reset. So I will put that to 0, or actually maybe better not, actually. Let's do... Yeah, actually, I do not need to do that because it will update every week regardless. So ignore that part. It's normally whenever I have to do a looping system that I need to do that. Okay, so that is the final sort of strategy. Once per bar during the week, we're taking the open candle of the weekly of the current bar. That's our orb. Once per bar, we're making the high minus the open, high minus open, and we're taking the open minus the low. So the open's here, minus the low. This gives us 2 different stretch sizes. We want to take the minimum. This is the minimum here. So we're then comparing, is stretch 1 bigger than stretch 2? If stretch 1 is bigger, we're using stretch 2. If stretch 1 is not bigger and stretch 2 is bigger, then we're taking stretch 1. Okay. So that's it in its easiest form as such. Maybe a little bit more complicated than things that we have been building on the stream, but well worth learning because variables are bread and butter for building a lot of systems, to be fair. So it's well worth learning how to use variables. Okay, so we've now got our open range, we've got our space, we've got our multiplier. Now what we need to do is we need to sort of put this all together. So how can we add a space? Well, again, you go into the variables and we've got this adjust area, right? The adjust, you can put times. I'm going to put this down to SM just to make sure that it's a little bit smaller. So we all understand that this is the space multiplier. In the adjust, we do times SM and again, times SM. Okay, so again, this is us getting our stretch values. Which is good. And then we need to then create the breakouts of this. So we've got our stretch value times that, but we need to apply it to another formula. So if we're using stretch 2, we need to do the orb plus final stretch. Okay. And this can be called B up. B up just means break up to the upside. Break out to the upside. B down would be the breakout to the downside, which we'll go and do next. So again, or final stretch, this is our B up. Bob the Builder. I'm trying to fix it, don't worry.
Luke Littler, the builder.
Come on, you put me off of my stride here. And then we need to create the one to the downside because we can go up or down. So we need to create the orb minus final stretch. Sorry, final stretch. And this is simply we put in B down. So maybe what we do as well is, do we do that? Maybe we take it on from here. We're going to make this just a fresh one because if I start making like a snake trail, it's going to make no sense to people. Okay. So we're just adding this, and this is just purely to take the open plus the stretch, gives us our breakout zone, and then the open minus the stretch gives us our breakout zone as well. Because this already calculates the final stretch, we then don't need to do anything else. Okay, that is this done on the on timer tab. And the reason we do it on timer is because it's just running once per bar. We don't want it to run once per tick because we're only looking at it once per week. So we don't need to put it on the once per tick. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, what should we do? We'll just do instant execution. It's just always the way that I build them. What we're going to do is we're going to do market properties, bid, cross, be up. We'll do the opposite side for sells. So do the ask, cross below, value, be down. Okay. So we only want to be in one position at a time. We will then create our buy and sell gates. And before we move on, I want to be able to put in my constants. So this is just where we're putting in how much risk we want to take per trade. So I'm going to take 1% per trade. Maybe we're going to use ATR stop loss because it's just a favorite of mine. For anyone that doesn't know the constants, this is just things that will be in your inputs in MetaTrader. So double is always to do with numbers. Timeframes is when you're trying to identify a period or a time frame. So timeframes, we then put, let's do lower time frame. So this, or sorry, we'll actually just put it as SL for stop loss, and we'll just do a period underscore H1. So we'll do the 1 hour, but we'll also do a multiplier of that. So M for multiplier, let's do 2. Okay. TP, let's just do 1-to-1 to begin with, and that's all we need at the moment. Okay, so you'll see here money management, let's do not risk per free margin, never done that. Risk per balance, you right click and then we can put in risk, so it's always going to risk 1%. When you're using ATR, you need to do the price fraction because it's a calculation. So we then find average true range. I normally just go with a period of 20, but again, you can modify it. Like obviously, the bigger period you put, the smoother it's going to be. The lower period you put, the more relevant it is to current price. But you know, the lower you put it, the more volatile your stop loss is going to be. So if you want a smoother stop loss, more consistent stop loss, you put a higher period. Okay. Let's look at the last candle. What we do in timeframes is we right click, we press SL. And again, remember this adjust button. This is where we're going to define our multiplier for our ATR. So the M, if we have 2, it's going to be 2 times the 1 hour stop loss. Okay. Percentage of price, again, we've got our TP in there 1-to-1. The good thing about setting these up, like you might feel like it's not worth setting up, but if you're going to run optimization or anything like that, it means that once this is on MetaTrader, you don't really need to come back and edit anything. So it's good practice to get into using constants and variables. So that's for the buy side. Again, we'll run the exact same on the sell side. Risk 1, price fraction, indicators, average true range, 20 period, stop loss. We want to take not candle 12, we want to take the first candle times M for multiplier and percentage of stop loss, TP. Okay. Okay, so one thing that people actually leave on this case is we actually want to sort of clear the breakout area. So what we're going to do is variable breakout up 0. And this just means that we don't actually have a breakout level after we've taken this breakout. It's just put to 0 until we run next week. Okay. Again, we'll do the exact same on the sell side. Be down 0. And that is pretty much the system. So as much as it's a little more complicated using variables, you can do it in less than 20 blocks, which is always good. It keeps it a little bit more simple. You know, rather than having 40 blocks you need to look through, you've got less. And that's the way that I always see it. If I've got less blocks in the chart, less things can go wrong. It just looks a bit more clean to me. Okay, so let's just test this out anyway. Fingers crossed it does actually work, and I've not just spent the past God knows how long, trying to get this to work.
It's the worst thing ever when you spend ages building a system and you click go and it just does nothing.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, one of the things I can recommend is just, if this is too complicated, build it piece by piece. You don't need to just go, right, full strategy, that's it. Build it in areas, you know? And that's always a good thing to start with. Like, get to grips building the execution model. Get to grips like just getting your ideas across to FX Streamer or whatever software that you use. Make sure that you're getting used to it. You know, you could go away, copy this, but if you don't understand the mechanics and everything about that, you'll never really get to learn. So start off with something easy. Do like a bar breakout on yesterday's high, yesterday's low. So you just use pending orders, just so you're getting used to using software. Then build out from there. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but I do understand that I've been doing it for years as well. So what I see is simple now, I definitely did not when I first started. And, you know, it did take me quite a while to learn to begin with in the early days. So don't worry if it doesn't come fast. Just write down everything, journal everything that you've tried, what works, what doesn't work. So then when you come back to it the next day, you know what not to try and what to continue on with, because there is a learning curve to it. Also understand that what you might think on the charts, like you'll subconsciously you'll miss certain things out because you think it's obvious. When you're building these things, it needs to know and state the obvious as well. So just to be very clear, that's exactly what you need to do. Okay. I'm just going to run a test to make sure this runs first and foremost, because I don't want to run an optimization for it to come back 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So yeah, let's just do something simple like the 2's going to be fine within the week. And let's just run it from 2020. Let's do visual representation. I wonder if this will show. Yeah, it's showing on the screen. Awesome. Okay. It took a trade. Let me see. So we took it here. So let me go back to the weekly. What we can see here is that was the open. Sorry, that was the open minus the high minus the open here is quite small, and the open minus the low is quite big. So we took the smaller end. That's our open. So the open is what day is this one? It's changing. 113241. So we can actually see the open is here. And what it's done is it's done 2 times this value, which we can see here. So it's not took it from the low, or it's not taken it from the open. It's just slightly below. So yeah, again, we can play about and optimize the sort of space. And this is the beauty of this system. So like we could optimize it to take lots of trades. So we're like, you know, we make the space small, or we can optimize it to take a lot less trades, and we're only taking what we see as high quality or more sort of like bigger breakouts when volume is there. The idea that I might have around this is when the ADX is like smaller, then we want to maybe increase the space because we've got less volume pushing through the markets. Markets aren't moving as big. And then when we see ADX actually moving up, we're then wanting to sort of maybe take the space a little bit in. So then we're taking as many breakouts when we know volume and momentum is there. So maybe that's something that we try over the next today and tomorrow. It could take a little while to get there. But you know, let's first of all see if we can identify any markets that this will work on, and then we can take it from there. So I have high hopes for trusty dollar yen, so could be quite interesting. And again, where is that been taken? So we can see here that the spread was 50. So we've not added a spread filter, and this is quite key as well. So we're just testing the initial one. And we can see that it actually entered the market here during spread hours because of the spread. So what we might want to do is put a time sort of stamp on it that we're not trading through spread hours, or we'll put a spread filter by when spread's above 4 pips, 5 pips. We're not taking trades. And this is just purely to protect us from the markets here, and we've just bought it well up there. So that's a massive spread. So yeah, that's what we want to stop, if that makes sense. So, but we can put these things in. If it works and it's taking trades at these sort of places, it's a good sign that the strategy is edge anyway. So we'll just let this run quickly. Let's see. Actually, I'm concerned that is the risk different? Risk per balance. It's not updated the buy side. I was wondering why it wasn't doing anything. This done the last time, Kieran, where it wasn't actually updating some of the stuff that I was doing in FX Streamer. I don't know if it's just when I'm streaming that it happens, but that was weird. So yeah, the reason that I noticed it is because we've seen these like small wins here, and I knew that wasn't meant to happen in the strategy. So let me go back, fix this, then we can run it, because that is not good, because I already built this side, so don't know why it didn't update. So just bear with me, and I will get it sorted. Go, take profit. Boom. Hopefully that's it. Let me just double check everything else. Yeah. Okay. Take 2. Don't know what happened there, but at least we identified it pretty early on. Okay. So we know that it's taking trades accordingly. So let's just let this run and see where we get. Do an initial test. Hopefully, it's going to give us all the trades that we want to see. Check this as to is there a reason? Because this does look like it's taking more trades than it's supposed to, but again, we'll go back and check. Maybe something's playing on with my own MetaTrader, or something's not converting, because there shouldn't be getting big wins like that when we're doing a one-to-one. So strange.
Where's the stop place, Blayn?
2 times the 1 hour ATR at the moment.
And what's the entry point? Like, when does it look for the entry?
Just once per week.
When the market opens, or a random time?
Just when the market opens, it then places a space. So I'm trying to figure out as to why we've got so many trades. Because there's what, 5? Yeah, there should be less than that. Let me just double check as to why this might not be doing it correct. So it was in the first case, but let me run it. It's a 2 week. Maybe it is correct. Maybe, what did I do? 2018, 2019, 2020? Maybe. What's going on here? Again, that's horrible. Took the trade here. This is closed. I'm going to take the trade here. Okay, I think I know what's going on. We need to get rid of the no position because it's still creating those conditions. But what I will do is we'll run it like this first. And we'll see if this gets rid of some of the old conditions. Because it's definitely working. Maybe it's just not working how I want it to. So we're doing 2018, 2019, and part of 2020. Maybe that's why. Yeah, let's go with that again. I don't get as to why it's taking some trades. So here and here, that's fine. Maybe we do this. So now we've got our conditions. And then maybe, right, well, we'll keep that like that for now because I do not know why it's taken so many. Like at the end of the day, it's given a good positive result, so something's working. I just think it's maybe taking. Maybe I'm being wrong. Maybe it isn't taking as many trades, but we should be having trades like that. But maybe it's building a lot of positions at one time. So that's what I need to look for. It shouldn't. Maybe there's something wrong with my MetaTrader today. Shouldn't be though. Again,
It's risk percentage of balance, isn't it?
Yeah. It's 1%. So like, this is what I don't get.
It's because you've got fixed pips stop target.
Oh, good spot. It's as simple as that. Wow. Apologies anyone that's watching. That is a bad.
And the student becomes a master.
There you go. Wow. Okay. Take 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. That now makes sense. Because we're targeting 100 pips sometimes when the market's not moving that much.
It'll probably help with a load of the losers as well, won't it?
Yeah.
The losers.
Now a range, of course it is. Yes. Okay. When you see this, this is always a tricky one to understand, and I think it's because of what I changed, because I thought it was the problem. Turns out it wasn't. So we'll go like this. We'll return it back to the original model, since Kieran pointed out that I was going for 500 pips a position there on the buy side. Do you know what? Like, it actually does sometimes just throw you off when you're like, you've done something so silly, like small, and it's like,
yeah,
come on. How have I made that mistake on stream today? So do you know? I blame it's the fact that I'm trying to speak while doing it. It looks a bit better, but right. I'm now contemplating everything that I've done on this program, because that doesn't look right either.
That looks a very weird curve.
Yeah, I had this the other day where like it wasn't actually, like, something was going wrong. Then as soon as the stream was over, it was fine. I don't get it.
Yeah, that balance curve don't look right.
The deposit load doesn't look right either. But look, like, it's losing money here, which doesn't make sense. So me changing that from fixed pips to 1-to-1 has somehow screwed something up. I wonder what. Let me have a look. Weird how it can do that sometimes, you know. Like, I think that's the problem.
To debug it.
Flaws to everything in life. Right. What was that wanting to do here? Let's go back to my original model. Right. Original model gave results. There was something wrong, and it was the fixed pips. So change nothing. Just don't put fixed pips. I thought this was going pretty smooth today as well until that happened.
That's the worst, when your curve looks good by accident, like when there's an error in there. Yuri, welcome to the stream, my bro. Hope you're all good. Following along and getting a few errors when exporting enum timeframe declaration without type. Another one is SL undeclared identifier. Any thoughts how to? Does enum timeframes? There we go. Has to be. You have to have an S at the end of timeframe.
Timeframes S at the end. Honestly, like, sometimes it's as simple as just little things. Like, look at the mistake that I've made today. You know, sometimes it's just it's small things that create the errors that are just, yeah, it's.
What's the SL undeclared identifier? You seen that before, Blayn?
Yes.
That's if you. Oh, go
on. So it depends when you see it, right? If it's trying to update, it will sometimes do that if you're trying to update a stop loss during spread hours. That's the time you will mostly see it.
It's when he's exporting it, though. I think. I don't know if is it when you're in FX Streamer, Yuri, as in when you're trying to pull the thing and it'll come up with a red box saying SL undeclared identifier. Oh, there we go. No more errors.
Yeah, just whenever, like, the thing some people get confused at as well is, like, not to say that you are, but some people do make the mistake that you've got to use price fraction for ATR stop loss rather than price level. Price level will always go to a whole number, or, like, you know, candle low, candle high, lowest low, lowest high. You know, they're not, like, always updating. Like, the lowest low of the past 20 is always going to be the lowest low of the past 20, where the ATR can change in, you know, if you watch an ATR in a 1 minute, it changes. So yeah, it's sometimes just simple things like that, or mucking up pips for things like this. Right. Let's see if it is actually doing what it's meant to do, because this is always interesting. So we got the candle open here. Okay. interesting. So can't open here. Where is it opened? So it's pretty much. The open was here. Okay. You have multiple EAs on a single pair. You can't tell which one is what, can you? No, this is just on one single pair.
You have to name them something different, Rob. So, like, if you've got multiple, you would have to load multiple charts. So, let's say I've got 3 euro-dollar systems. I would load up 3 euro-dollar charts. Obviously, each file would have a unique name and hopefully unique settings as well. And then you'd upload one per chart. So you would be able to tell which one is which, unless I've misunderstood your question.
Maybe
unless you built them all into one master algorithm, but I wouldn't recommend that. It's harder to change things then.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe I did that accidentally.
Oh, I've got my window open. It smells like summer.
I know, I'm cooking up here. It's 15 degrees today.
You sounded so Scottish then. 15 degrees.
Huh.
15 degrees.
Right. Right. Let me figure this out and fix it, because something's not going right today.
That looks better.
Maybe. We'll see.
There's no discrepancy between, at least the equity and the balance line there's no issue there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure that the space is working at the moment. So I've done 5 times 1 hour ATR, because obviously it could take quite a few days for it to actually happen. I want to try, like, say, if I put like 100, it's not taking trades, just to make sure that it's not. Mm-hmm. Let me just run a quick. This will just prove that it's actually going to work. This feels like a big letdown today. I was like, yeah, this is going to be good, easy to build, and something's going wrong. Let me just figure it out, and then, I'll be like this. Okay. And then I'll just tell you exactly what's going wrong, and then you can just all fire me in the comments,
Got you, Rob. So you was on about identifying the trades. Yeah. So each individual strategy will have to have a unique magic number. That way you can, when you're looking in like when you're looking like on MyFX book and stuff like that, you can filter out or analyze the performance based on the magic number. So you can compare the live data, or if you're using a platform where you'll upload your reports like QA or something, it'll pass it on that based on the report, but you can do it by magic number as well. But yeah, correct. It's magic.
Stretch 2. Stretch 1 is over stretch 2. Yes. Stretch 2 equals final stretch times SM. It should be working. Do you know why? Puzzled. This is the way I've always built them when it comes to like multiplying ATRs, and it's always been fine. Maybe what I do is this is why I want to try to quickly build it beforehand, so I'm not wasting time like this. So stretch 1, no, stretch 5. Okay, so I'll do that. So if it's stretch, this is confusing me a little bit now. Why it's not working. The high minus open gives you the value, yeah. the open minus the low gives you the value. Yeah. Let me just change this to candle close of 1 and see if it's got anything to do with that. It might. Just to see. We've got weekly there. We've got weekly there. Let me get rid of this. Because sometimes it can be something so small and then it works.
I've got my first trade open, Blayn, that's split 5 times as well.
That's a lot of splitting. But
I'll tell you what, though, it did it perfectly. 10 seconds each way. 0.03 blocks on GU every time. Now I just need to check that the actual the closing works as well, which it should do. But
yeah.
For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, over the past few live sessions, I've spoken quite a lot about capacity. And I'm basically going through all of my strategies in XAQP and building a position splitter that splits the entries down into different trades, or splits, the trade down into different positions. And then they all have the same stop loss, so that doesn't get delayed. There's a slight delay, either 3, 5, or 10 seconds between each entry. And then the same, if position 1 hits the target, it will delay again. Position 2 will close, delay, position 3 will close, and so on and so forth. Reason being is to reduce my toxic flow and to increase my capacity, because my capacity is pretty pants right now, which means there's kind of a glass ceiling above my head. But I'm going to do a proper session on this. I think I'm going to do a private one for all index participants where we go through like a proper workshop, maybe for like a few hours. And then we'll do a public session on it as well for like an hour or so, where I go over it at a basic level so everybody can implement it before getting to before being a part of index.
Yeah, I don't know what it's now. It's now taking less trades and only took 11. So something isn't working. It's meant to. Let me just figure out what it is. So we do it like this. We need to do the formula of the high minus the candle weekly low. Yes. And we need to do the open of 1. Yeah. Nothing screams to me as to like why it's not working. Stretch 1 is bigger than stretch 2. If it is, we'll take stretch 2, put that as a numeric value. Then maybe.
Great question, Fulfillment. Since you just mentioned the capacity, Kieran, is there a way for a trader to stay updated on which is the most liquid asset? And Darwinex, is the euro-dollar still one, if not the best? Euro-dollar will always, or likely always be the most liquid asset. Indices, usually there's no issue. Metals, I've noticed that when metals move fast, the slippage is pretty bad. So it's not always about the liquidity. Sometimes it's about how bad the slippage can be if you get caught in a move. For example, I have a silver strategy and it's my best slippage and my worst slippage by like 12 pips either side. But that's silver and it's not about the liquidity. Correct, yeah, CFD. it's not necessarily always about the liquidity, but sometimes how bad things can get. So again, my point there is I have a strategy on the S&P 500, which most people here know. If Friday closes red, then it buys the cash open on Sunday evening. S&P 500, one of the biggest markets in the world. Yeah, it absolutely batters my capacity because I'm trading right on the market open. So I've actually removed that strategy from XAQP now because it's holding back my alpha cap, which is just not good enough. Not good at all.
I'm just going to stay silent until I fix this. This should be an easy system to build as well.
He's lost his touch.
I have today. Don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out. All I want to see is like where the space is different. We need to see different values or different amount of trades. 0 now. Okay. Interesting. Final stretch. How weird when this is. It should work. I've never not been able to build a system. This is annoying me. I really don't know if it's me or it's FX Dream at the moment. Final stretch.
Don't put it on FX Dream a lot.
Of course you can. So if stretch 1 is above, we're using stretch 2 value and we're putting it against select value. Maybe I've done it wrong. Yeah, that's right. Final stretch times that. Maybe we can do that. Let's try it out like this one, just so I can know where the sequence is. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Final stretch, yeah, we've cancelled that. The high minus the open, yeah, that is the stretch 1. The open. Let's simplify it first and work out after. Let me just figure this out from one side, and then we can figure out where the error has occurred, and then I can replicate it for the other side. Probably the easiest way I can go about it. So we'll always use this value. We don't need this. Don't need this. Let's do Let me make sure that I can get this working. Hope it does. Okay. Okay, took the trade. Awesome, so that's fine. Now I just need to make sure that the space works. So we'll do times, let's do times 10 just to make sure that the values are working. And let's see if it then that's working a lot better. I think I've figured it out. Don't know how it's took this long. Because this now should not take many trades because it's times 10. Okay. Right. Hopefully now, this, when we do the SM, will give us different values. And then I've figured out what's went wrong. Okay, so what I've changed here is we're only measuring one side of it at the moment. And this is just purely to make sure that the fundamentals are working because something is clearly not at the moment. So I've simplified it a bit more. We're just going to take the candle close of last week. We could put candle open actually, and we'll try it. But I just wanted to make sure that we're actually getting the system to work on one side. And what I'll be able to do is be able to compare stretch 1 and stretch 2 after I have figured this out. So yeah, this now should be a bit easier to do. I'll just figure it out afterwards. I just want to make sure first that we are getting different space sizes, which the fact that it's taken a lot longer now suggests to me that the space is now working 100%. So apologies to anyone that has been watching this painful last 20 minutes of just trying to figure things out. But unfortunately, it's sometimes just part of the process and how you can make a system work. Obviously, I've been a little bit rusty on the build today, but normally what I do is I do a little bit of building beforehand just to get into the rhythm. And yeah, I'm not the best at speaking while actually doing things at times. So we'll figure this out quickly. We can see that we're taking longer, as I said, to do tests. So hopefully, once we get this out the road, we'll get different values and we'll be right on track to building the system. So it shouldn't be too much longer. Hopefully, I'm hoping we get different results because we've done the space is a little different. We've done 2, we've done 10, we've done 2, 2, and 10. So we're doing 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So 5 different conditions. I hope the whole 2 point has not actually done anything wrong here. And we'll see different results. Okay. We have seen slightly different results. Not a lot of trades, but we're only doing 2 years. Okay, I think I know. This is going to be fine now. Okay, so what we want to do is let's just do that to open 0, and this will be fine. So let me get rid of this one first, and we'll do it like this. So I'm going to copy paste that. We've got the open 1 minus the low, and we'll do that in stretch 2. Yeah, it does. I mean, to be fair, like it probably shouldn't for me. But yeah, I think we're all human at the end of the day when it comes to these sort of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see is stretch 1. And I want to make sure that this actually takes everything that we want it to take. If it does, if stretch 1 we want it takes the value of stretch 2. If it doesn't, we want to take the value of stretch 1. So I'm just going to do the buy side now, and we'll do that just for this. So we get rid of the buy up. Yeah, cool. Right. Hopefully now this will just purely do buy side. Again, we'll run a wee optimization, just a wee optimization. 2, 2, and 2. Oh, no, 10. Let's do 8, just because I've only got 4 cores running. Hopefully now this won't be too long. So this has changed a little. Obviously, stretch 1 above stretch 2. Then we want to take the smaller one, so we take stretch 2. Stretch 1 is above stretch 2. Then we take stretch 1 here. So again, we're doing times SM, which is times the SM, which is the multiplier. And hopefully this will give us the results that we're looking for in terms of working, and then we can build on it. It's only took an hour.
Only took an hour.
Just an hour, you know. Something that should have been done in 10 minutes. It's only took an hour. I don't get why the original logic didn't really work, to be honest, because I built these sort of systems for the open plus an ATR, just never the way that it's been described on this one. Like the high and the low of like the high minus the open and the open minus the low. I've never done that one before, but it should be easy. Maybe it's to do with like it being, I don't know, the way that numbers are computed. Unsure. But yeah, we'll see if this solves it. Hopefully it does. Otherwise, I might just have to spend a little bit of time after the stream and tomorrow continue and actually show you it working 100% in the actual final product, and then we can take it from there. So don't worry, I promise I will make this work and show you guys how to build it. I thought I built it correct, but evidently MetaTrader and FXStreamer didn't want me to build it that way.
Maybe I'll have to do the building sessions from now on, Blayn.
Yes, it's worked. Oh, we got there. Damn. So yeah, 8 less trades. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Right, that solves one problem. Now we can do it like this. Oh, finally. And we can do minus that for B down. And we can do minus be down. Awesome. So now we have both buy and sells. So this is obviously a little different. It's very similar. I think the difference is it's all in one sort of line rather than here, here, and here. Maybe that was the problem. I should know these things off the top of my head, but evidently not today. But we're there in the end. That's the main thing, I would say. It's the main thing. So now we should get this working, and we can actually run somewhat of a decent test finally. Let me just do this, and I'm just going to quickly watch on the. We'll get this. Let me get rid of all these previous tests. I'll do. Right. Just on a random number 3. See what happens. Should get about. Is that 40, 50 trades? No, more than that. I mean, if we don't get good results with the method that's shown on Oxford Strat, what I might do is we might just do an ATR-based space, or we can find another space tomorrow and test that out. Because I do think that there will be something that works a bit on an opening range breakout. Maybe it's only when you trade Monday, Tuesday that there will be a way that it's maybe going to be profitable. But this isn't looking too great now. Again, nothing's optimized. This is just us making sure that the strategy is actually taking the trades that we want it to and intend it to. We already know that 4 is actually the least profitable. We went like 3, so it's in between this. So not expecting like a massive result. And again, this is just at 1-to-1 basis. And we've now added the sell side. So that's going to add a lot more trades and a little bit of different variety to it. So we'll see where we get. It might be a strategy that's good on, say, NASDAQ long only. We're measuring out like open range breakout for the NASDAQ, go to the upside. That can be quite good, and we can take this further and test on different markets as well. See what we can get to work. I believe we will find stuff for this to work on, and hopefully, if we get a couple of assets for this to work on, maybe this one is one that goes on the charity Darwinex, but. We'll see. We'll have to just wait and see what the results are. I just picked this strategy at random today. No reason. I just wanted to build something different. Okay, let me have a look. No short trades. Not good. Got that minus the open, so we should be taking a couple of trades. Stretch one, take that, yeah. Let's stretch one. Could be some weird quirk for today that it's not liking it. Let's get the thing. The good thing is we've got it working to the buy side. I just don't know why it's not working to the sell side when it's the same sort of methodology that's being used here. Maybe I didn't. Did I do it on this one? Let me check. Okay, this one seems to be. Yeah, I clicked on the wrong file. Hopefully this gives us sell trades, and at least we know going in tomorrow we've got the file working, and then we can test it on everything. Maybe after this session I'll run an optimization across all pairs, so then tomorrow we can come in, have a look at the pairs that it works on, and see what we can build from there. Because so far things ain't looking good. Okay, it took sales. So we have the system now fully working, finally. Yeah, interesting. Have a look at where we're doing the orders. Sell there, we're not doing sell. Sell here, good. Buy here, good. Sell here, good. Okay, it seems like everything's now working, which is great. It's what we needed. Just fine. Okay. Okay, we can run a quick optimization on this. Let's see if we can get some good statistics. Maybe it might not look so great with the whole looking at the previous day's candle. As we said, when we went onto it, we looked at like the high and the low. Maybe we are better. Like obviously this is tiny. This is tiny. So the breakout's going to be tiny unless we've got big sort of like space. Where maybe we do something like we take the average true range of the previous week, which would be 289, and we could say 289 is like here. Maybe we take the breakout of the ATR, last week's ATR range, or 289 here. We take the breakout here. So that could be quite interesting. And then we could do different multiples. We do like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, all the way to like 2 times. So then we're really giving ourselves like a good variety of sort of breakout zones. Because you can see sometimes like the high and the low, like this tiny, so it's going to be a tiny breakout. Maybe we want something that's a little bit more relevant to price, which would be obviously using ATRs. And yeah, I think that's what I'll, after this session, I'll build it with the ATRs. And then tomorrow, I'll be taking the stream again, hopefully a lot better than this one. And yeah, we'll get everything working because it's working now, but it's not intention. Testing it. Any idea, Blayn? Sorry, Rob, what are you asking?
You said he put 0.54 risk on a 100k account with an EA and it risked 1%. Not sure why. You'd have to see the settings. It's impossible to say without seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's say you're using a big stop loss. I mean, I couldn't see any reason why 0.5 risk would risk 1%. I guess, I don't know, like, if you're using, like, a very big stop loss, then yes, of course, like, even on a 100k account, risking 0.5%, if you've got, like, a stop loss, like, 10% or something like that, like, I mean, I know that's, like, crazy. But like then you're going to be risking more than 0.5% depending on how big your stop loss is. But yeah, it all comes down to, you know, maybe shoot me a message, let me know like what sort of stop loss size you're using, and I'll be able to answer as to why it's risking 1% instead of 0.5. But without any sort of context on sort of what stop loss size you're using, things like that, I wouldn't be able to tell you as to why without actually seeing the project as such. So again, from what you can see, like we're using different multipliers here. We're going all the way to the extreme of 20, and we're using like 1. Naturally, 1's taking a lot more trades. 16's only took 38 trades over just over 3 years period. So obviously, it's going to not take as many trades naturally because the breakout area is a lot bigger. It's actually quite interesting to do 16 actual like multiples of whatever the price is. That's quite interesting, but. Again, this is just a pure one-to-one test. All I'm looking for here is over a 50% win rate with these strategies, and then we can see if we can take it further with maybe increasing the take profit. We've done no optimization on stop loss either. This is just using a bog standard 2 times 1 hour ATR. Maybe that's not the best sort of range to use it. Maybe a bigger ATR is better, and then it's got a more stable range. Maybe a smaller one does. We don't know that yet. This is just purely just to test one-to-one using a random sort of metrics, one-to-one on 1 hour times 2 ATR. And if we get a good result from just randomness here, then we can take this further, do a little bit of optimization on it. When I say optimization, thinking back to what Martin was saying, we're only going to optimize stop loss and take profit over a period, and then we're going to take it from there. So just to kind of go back over what we've changed here, it is now a little bit more simple. Maybe it was just me trying to overcomplicate things naturally, probably. So we've got once per bar. We are then going to sort of reset our stretch. We're using the formula, the high minus the candle open of the weekly equal our stretch value 1, and then the open minus the low makes our stretch value 2. We're then checking that stretch 1 is bigger than stretch 2. If it is, we're using stretch 2. If stretch 2 is bigger than stretch 1, then we're using stretch 1. And what we're doing is then we're using the close. And what I'm trying to do is just make sure it works. Well, then I'll make sure that for tomorrow we're using the open. Then we add it the stretch times our multiplier, and that gives us our breakout zone to the upside. And then we take the close minus the stretch 2, and that's our breakout side to the downside. Naturally, like if we're, it'll only calculate that based on like the stretch, what stretch we're using, and then the other side we are using close plus again stretch 1 instead of stretch 2 this time because this is obviously the smaller one. So yeah, it's actually probably simplified it. We've now got it down to 16 blocks instead. I think it was 17 before. So actually it's simplified it, which is good. But yeah, we can see results are coming in. This is looking quite good so far. We've only got one negative result, which is interesting. It'll be interesting because it's kind of an outlier. What is the website you're using? What to build them in? It is FX Dreamer. Or you can also use Perfectus, which is Max's, which is his ticker is PYE at Darwinex. He also has a no-code sort of builder as well, which is pretty good. So yeah, you've got two different like options for no-code builders at the moment that are pretty good. I think once we... No worries. Have you ever built like an open range breakout of anything here before?
Never.
Never?
Never.
I've only ever done it from like, like that strategy that everyone teaches online, like the first 15-minute bar of New York session, you take the breakout of that. I don't know if you've ever seen a video on that.
Yeah. I don't think you can... It's so difficult to make work, that is.
Yeah. There is a workaround to make it work, but again, it's quite... It definitely... Again, it's very similar to this, where if you add a space to it and you're like not taking the first breakout, because obviously first 15 minutes of New York opening could go anywhere. But yeah, it's interesting strategy to kind of like take further.
Yeah.
Some people might say like we're testing a 3-year period. 178 trades is not a lot. To be honest, if you're trading off the weekly, that's quite a lot over 3 years. So I'm quite happy with like the sample size that we're getting at the moment. It just means that we've got to be very careful and sensitive to if we were to add anything and really optimize it, because then we would be cutting loads of trades and really reducing our sample size. But sometimes if it makes sense as to like why, like it could just be something simple, like you're really taking breakouts when you're above the 200 moving average and taking like buys when you're above 200, sells and take 200. That would be something that kind of makes logical sense, as long as you don't like over optimize that sort of thing. So it's using like the 187, 162 or something like that. Don't think I've ever optimized that like moving average to be like a weird number.
I stick with 30, 50, 100, 200, 500.
Yeah, just box standard ones that everyone's kind of looking at, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I just don't think I could come out and say, I am trading the 27 moving average with the 105. I don't know. I just couldn't.
A 3 and 6,479 moving average crossover.
To be fair, like if it works and it's working, fair play. But for me, it's just not for me. Maybe, to be honest, UJ works well with EAs, especially since 2019. Are you willing to give away that secret?
UJ works with everything. Oh, pardon me.
Yeah, UJ's been pretty good for certain systems since 2019. Who knows? We might see a little change with obviously Bank of Japan increasing interest rates. We'll see what happens over the year. It could be quite interesting. But yeah, like 2018, 2019, pretty rough periods for UJ, but volume wasn't moving as much as well. Like markets were quite slow for certain things around those areas. So yeah, it's just the way the market cycles sometimes. It would be weird to get like a system that works every year without fail. Do I have one? I don't think. I'd need to check that to see if I've got a system that works every year. Almost done the optimization, so this could be quite interesting because then we'll put it into a 3D chart, and it'd be quite interesting once we have built this out. If maybe we put this in Martin software OMS and see what it says. Quite interesting I think that'd be a good episode if we can try and do that ourselves, like use the software and get our own conclusions from it as well. It'd be quite interesting because I think the software is pretty cool. Okay. Weird that between 4, maybe 5 is going to be bad as well. Then it goes through that period of like not so good, and then it stables out along here. But yeah, I'll probably pick somewhere like at 2 because it's getting enough trades as it stands. Got a little bit left to go, and then that'll be us. Hopefully we can get something to work on this, and it's another strategy into the charity Darwin, because it'd be good to get another one from the stream on. that's why this orb on the weekly looks interesting. Weekly time frame strategies stand the test of time and can survive different market regimes. Yeah, I agree to an extent. Like, I think like strategies on the daily go through, if you're using things from the daily, like you're going through so many different sort of market types, especially if you look at data back to like 2010, or you could go further, but for me it's probably not worth it. But yeah, like if you're building a strategy in the hourly and you build it in a volatile market and then it goes to a non-volatile market, then yeah, you basically curve fitted it for that sort of market. Whereas if you're taking something from the daily, then it's going through different periods of volatility anyway. So I do, I always say to people, start on the weekly daily, then work your way down if you want to get kind of involved in the noise, as I would say. It's involved in the noise. Okay. So I think what we'll do, Kieran, is I'll just quickly go through this graph and we'll call it a day for today. Then tomorrow I'll continue on, optimize it, show different strategies that work, and then we'll take it from there. But this is not a very clear representation. I was hoping I was going to get it onto something else. I was hoping it was going to go red and green and things like that, but I forget. We were just testing one optimization level. So basically what we've got here is this is our test in terms of multipliers. And you can see the SM, which is strategy multiplier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 20, right? What we can see is 1 and 2. So 1's here. You can't really see that. If you can see my cursor, that's where it is. 2's up here. 3's down here. So our optimal level is 2. Again, I'd want to see how well does that work going forward. I know there's a big drop, but that's just going to be what's happened. The actual more stable area, so traditionally what I'd look is over here. We can see that if you pick this one, it's above here, a bit below here, a bit below here. This is the more stable area between 14 and 17. So yeah, what we'll do tomorrow is we're going to test both these things going forward, see what sort of results we get. Out of sample, even on a 1-to-1, and then we can take it further, optimization for take profit, and then maybe we add something to, if we're looking at the more trades, maybe we add something to get rid of trades based on volatility, or alternatively, we can then have a second system as well that we're looking at the ATR space plus the open. So that's the plans for tomorrow. Thank you for everyone joining me today. That's been a bit of a nightmare first half and then a recovery second half. But yeah, it's about how you finish.
It's always about how you finish.
So yeah,
guys. I won't be here for tomorrow's live stream. I have the day off. Missus is having laser eye surgery, so I'm on daddy duty tomorrow. With my kids, not with my missus. So I will be leaving you in the capable hands of Blayn tomorrow to continue on from today's session. As always, it's been a massive pleasure being here with you today. Thank you, everybody, for putting a comment in the comment box or for just spending some of your time with us here today. We will see you in the next session. Peace out, guys.
Awesome. Thanks very much, everyone.